AutoCAD 107, Introduction to 3D Printing. Hi, Joe Cerrone. I'm going to show how to model this gear and then bring it into the slicing software for 3D printing. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set the workspace. We're going to open this file from D2L. The name of the file is XX Lab 1B Revised. And I'll have that in D2L. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set the workspace to 3D Basics, and we'll do that by clicking on this gear here. And then we'll select Press Pull. And Press Pull works really nicely. If you hover it right in this area right here, you'll see that everything kind of glows. And what that'll do is it'll acquire everything. I'm going to cancel it before I press pull it and set it for conceptual so we can see it better. I'll go press pull, I'll hover right there, and then I'll pull that up. We're going to go 0.25. And we'll do the same for this piece over here. We'll hover, we'll click, and then we'll bring that up 0.25. I'll hit escape. And then what I'm going to do, if I move this one, those little boundary shapes will disappear. So I could just click on move and click on it, hit enter, move it from here to there. You see the 2D geometry still stays behind. And so once we have modeled this, what we're going to do is we're going to save it. And we'll put our initials on it. Save it as a drawing type, and you can dial these back if you don't have the 2018. The softwares are not, they're backwards compatible, meaning a new software can open up an older one, but an older one cannot open up a new software. So I could not open, if I hit 2010, I could not open a 2013 or a 2018. But we have 2018, 2020. So I'm going to save it as my initials, hit save. And then I'm going to export it as an STL file. And so what I'll go is to export, other file format. Here it is, lithography file. And so I'll hit save, and I'll click on this piece, hit enter, and then I'll do it again. And you can repeat the last command by hitting the space bar. And I'm going to say revised to, save, and it'll be the base. Okay, then we're going to go into our Dremel Digi Slicer, and I have the camera set up and the machine is networked now, and you can see I've actually got one that's been printed. I'll go over here to the prepare, and what I'll do is I will open the file that I just created. So here it is. Open. Now what happens is inch drawings need to be converted over to millimeters, and so it's really tiny, and so if I click on it, and it'll highlight, then I'll go to the scale and I'll make it 2,540 times bigger, and that'll scale it. That's our scale factor, 2540. And then if I turn the wheel on the mouse, if I push the wheel on the mouse, if I right mouse click, it takes a little while to learn how to drive these. If you like playing video games, you'll probably be better at it. If I want to duplicate this file, I can click on it, and then I can right click and I can say multiply selected model. I'll make one more copy of it, and then I'll bring in the base. And so I'll go open, and here's the second one. Again, it's going to be super tiny, and so I need to click on it, and then I need to scale it up. And then I need to move it. Grab these rockets. I'm not sure why it's on an angle like that. Probably the perspective. If I wanted to turn it just because I'm neat, I can turn it that way. Whoops. Okay, so now that I have these different components all modeled and put onto the build tray, we can take a look at how this is set up. Right now, it's set up for a Dremel 3D 45, and I've got it connected to the network. And this is really very cool because on these Dremel printers, you can print to a cloud, and then it'll go to your printer. If you have like let's say you have a print farm with all of these printers, you can have the jobs sent over the internet from anywhere. And so I'll connect with this printer and I'll close it, and then I can see it. I have a job that I ran. I had it slightly laid out differently with them on the sides, but kind of the same thing. And then as we run this, we'll be able to see the machine printing that. Back to the slicing software. Before we do that, what we do is we can select the type of material, and so we'll go with PLA, polylactic acid, and then as far as the defaults, we're going to go ahead and just leave it at this time. And we'll start, as we go through the course, going through things like layer height, layer width, shells or the outside edges of it, infill, material, speed, travel, cooling, support. Support is very important as we get into it. This part doesn't really need to generate support, so I'm going to remove it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare it, and so it'll have this file name. This will be a G-code file. So I'll hit prepare. And so it goes ahead and slices it and gives it a file name. And then it gives us an estimate of how long it will take to do that. So it'll take 1 hour and 9 minutes to go through. And then what we usually like to do is we like to look at the layers in the build. So we'll toggle this over to layer view. And then we can go through and we can see how each of the layers is built. It's going to have a total of 21 layers. And you can really kind of get in pretty close on these and take a look at them. This is our infill pattern. And so as you can see, some of these things that we can go through and we'll be able to go through and change things like infill patterns and the thickness of the walls. Sometimes you want more layers on the top to make the part stronger. And then we'll go ahead and print this over the network. So that completes this video.